1965-1967 AMC Rambler Marlin. American Motors Corporation launched the Rambler Marlin in 1965 as their competitor in the personal luxury fastback segment, aiming to challenge the Plymouth Barracuda and Ford Mustang. The Marlin stretched 195 inches long with 112-inch wheelbase and weighed approximately 3,618 pounds. Engine options included a base 232 cubic inch inline-six producing 155 horsepower, a 287 cubic inch V8 with 198 horsepower, and top-tier 327 cubic inch V8 engines delivering up to 270 horsepower. AMC's critical mistake was building the Marlin on the mid-sized Rambler Classic chassis designed for family sedans rather than sporty coupes. The result looked awkward and disproportionate, with the fastback roof sitting atop a body that was simply too large. Even AMC's own designer, Bob Nixon, later called it one of our worst production cars. 1960 Mercury. The 1960 Mercury marked the end of an era negatively. While Mercury reduced excessive late 1950s styling, 1960 models still rode on a massive 126-inch wheelbase and weighed over 4,500 pounds for the Park Lane convertible. This substantial size meant poor fuel economy, difficult parking, and expensive maintenance. Production reached only 154,000 units, marginally up from 1959, but nowhere near competitive. Starting in 1961, Mercury would shrink to a 120-inch wheelbase, becoming little more than a restyled, expensive Ford, losing distinct identity permanently. Problems extended beyond styling and positioning. These massive cars were expensive to operate, with owners facing high costs for tires, brakes, and consumables that wore faster due to vehicle weight. The 312, 383, and 430 cubic inch V8 engines were powerful but thirsty, while the optional multi-drive Merco-Matic transmission added complexity and failure points. Build quality was inconsistent, with electrical issues, power steering leaks, and trim pieces falling off being common complaints. The cars handled poorly due to size and weight, making them unwieldy in urban environments. Mercury's positioning between Ford and Lincoln satisfied nobody. 1960 Ford Falcon. The Ford Falcon achieved sales success, selling over 435,000 units in its first year, but showroom success didn't translate to road satisfaction. This measured 181 inches long with a 109.5-inch wheelbase and weighed approximately 2,380 pounds. Under the hood sat a 144 cubic inch inline-six, producing just 90 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. Ford's obsession with fuel economy over drivability created the real problem. They specified a 3.10 rear axle ratio, maximizing highway fuel consumption, but making the car nearly impossible to drive in real-world conditions. The gap between second and third gear in the 3-speed manual transmission was so wide that passing from 50 miles per hour became frustrating. In second gear, the engine was breathless. In third gear at that speed, it had no torque whatsoever.
Number 10. 1960 to 1967 Renault Dauphine. The Renault Dauphine achieved massive European success, but its arrival in the United States became a cautionary tale about importing economy cars to American roads. This rear-engine French compact featured an 845cc inline-four, producing merely 32 horsepower. Road and Track magazine recorded a 0 to 60 time of 32 seconds, slower than most farm tractors of the era. Measuring 155 inches long with an 89-inch wheelbase and weighing approximately 1,400 pounds, the Dauphine was designed for economical European city streets, not American highways. Performance wasn't the only problem. The Dauphine suffered catastrophic rust issues, particularly in challenging American climates. Poor quality steel meant these vehicles could rust completely through within just a few years. The lightweight construction felt fragile, drivers complained about reliability issues, and the carburetor was prone to icing. When new, the car cost between $1,650 and $1,700, but buyers felt cheated. 1967 Maserati Mistral. The 1967 Maserati Mistral represented Italian automotive design at its most beautiful, yet most frustrating. This Grand Tourer featured stunning bodywork by Pietro Frua and impressive performance from its straight-six engine, but mechanical and electrical reliability were virtually non-existent. The Mistral stretched approximately 177 inches long and featured Maserati's legendary 4.0-liter inline-six engine, producing around 255 horsepower. With its long hood, short rear deck, and elegant proportions, it looked every bit the exotic sports car. Beneath that gorgeous exterior lurked constant problems. The electrical system was notoriously temperamental, leaving owners stranded regularly. Lucas electrical components, often called the Prince of Darkness by British enthusiasts, were standard equipment. When they failed frequently, repairs were expensive and time-consuming. Mechanical reliability wasn't better, with the engine requiring constant attention, despite being powerful and smooth when running properly. Number 8. 1958 Lincoln Continental Mark III. The 1958 Lincoln Continental Mark III represents one of automotive history's most expensive failures. Ford lost approximately $60 million on the 1958 to 1960 Lincoln program, while desperately attempting to catch General Motors' luxury dominance. The Mark III was the largest unibody car ever made at the time, measuring 229 inches long and weighing over 5,000 pounds. This massive vehicle carried a price tag exceeding $6,000, more than $2,000 higher than Lincoln's top model from just 3 years earlier. Quality control was disastrous from launch. Ford introduced too many changes simultaneously, resulting in quality lapses contradicting advertising claims of unattainable luxury standards. The massive unibody construction proved problematic, with Ford's chief engineer Harley Kopp warning it was folly to build such a large car using unibody. The 430 cubic inch V8 was powerful but thirsty, and overall size made the car unwieldy in urban environments. Build quality issues were common, and controversial styling featuring extreme cantilevers looked ungainly to many buyers.
Number 7. 1963 to 1976 Hillman Imp. The Hillman Imp appeared promising on paper with its innovative all-aluminum 875cc overhead cam engine derived from a Coventry Climax racing unit, independent suspension at all corners, and practical rear-engine layout featuring a clever opening rear window. This British economy car measured approximately 144 inches long, produced 37 horsepower in base form, and featured an unusual 45-degree engine cant designed to lower the center of gravity. Designers Mike Parks, who later became a Formula One driver, and Tim Fry created what should have been competitive. Everything went wrong. The Imp was rushed into production at the brand new Linwood plant in Scotland before development was complete. Water pumps failed, gearboxes broke, water leaked into cabins, and cooling systems couldn't prevent rear-mounted engines from overheating. Number 6. 1960 Edsel. The 1960 Edsel wasn't merely bad, it was historically catastrophic. Ford discontinued the entire brand after producing only 2,846 units, making it the only automobile never actually produced during its designated model year. By 1960, the Edsel had been stripped of its controversial horse-collar grille and looked strikingly similar to Ford models, eliminating any purchase incentive. Ford lost over $250 million on the Edsel program, equivalent to over $2.6 billion today, with 1960 models sharing bodies with Ford Fairlines as badge-engineered variants. Quality control was nightmarish from launch. Edsels arrived at dealerships with such shoddy build quality that dealers spent time and money making them presentable or saleable. Built on existing Ford and Mercury lines without Edsel-specific worker training, focus was speed rather than quality. The subpar 2-speed Milo-matic transmission received numerous complaints about excessive first-gear running, slow, mushy shifts, jerky stops, and light throttle spin-ups. Production ended November 19, 1959, just 5 weeks after going on sale. The Edsel became synonymous with corporate failure and remains a cautionary tale in business schools today. Number 5. 1961 Plymouth Fury. The 1961 Plymouth Fury continued Chrysler's styling missteps with what many consider an even worse design than 1960. The company dropped all vertical styling cues, favoring a completely flat appearance with revised headlight eyebrows, creating a vehicle looking both dated and futuristic in wrong ways. The bustle-back trunk design was particularly controversial, and overall proportions looked oddly dumpy and awkward. Despite sharing components with upcoming troubled 1962 models, the 1961 maintained essentially unchanged sales figures. Under the hood, Plymouth offered engines ranging from the 225 cubic inch slant 6 to the powerful 413 cubic inch V8 with dual 4-barrel carburetors. But even good engines couldn't save a car with styling that alienated buyers. The 1961 Plymouth represented the final year before Chrysler's disastrous 1962 downsizing experiment, and while not as catastrophically bad as what followed, it still suffered from build quality issues typical of the era. Rust was a significant problem, particularly in rocker panels and around the rear window. Today, these early 1960s Furies are hard to find, mostly due to rust issues.
Number 4. 1959 Chevrolet Impala. The iconic 1959 Impala may surprise many on this list, but despite becoming highly collectible today, it suffered significant problems when new. The dramatic styling with massive tail fins and abundant chrome polarized buyers, while the bubble-top design with narrow C-pillars and extensive glass created a severe greenhouse effect. These vehicles became unbearably hot during summer months, earning the nickname cookers. This issue was so problematic that full-sized Ford coupes outsold Chevrolets in 1960 and 1961, despite Chevrolet dominating overall sales figures. The 1959 Impala rode on a new X-frame chassis, providing minimal side impact protection, a serious safety concern unaddressed for years. Build quality was inconsistent, with massive bodies prone to squeaks, rattles, and alignment problems. Rust became a major issue, particularly in trunks, rockers, and around massive rear fenders. The single-piece steering column posed impalement risks during frontal collisions. Number 3. 1962 Dodge Dart. The early 1960s Darts had serious problems frustrating buyers, despite modern styling and compact dimensions. Dodge positioned the Dart as a compact alternative to full-sized cars, measuring approximately 202 inches long with a 116-inch wheelbase. The base engine was a 225 cubic inch slant 6, producing around 145 horsepower, with various V8 options available. The slant 6 engine, while eventually becoming legendary for durability, had significant issues in early implementation. The base version was grossly underpowered for the car's weight. Owners complained about sluggish acceleration, poor throttle response, and inability to keep up with highway traffic. Reliability problems plagued early Darts, with engines suffering from oil leaks, cooling system issues, and carburetor problems.
Transmissions, particularly in automatic-equipped models, shifted harshly and required frequent adjustments. Electrical problems were common, with wiring harnesses that deteriorated quickly. Number 2. 1960 to 1963 Chevrolet Corvair. The Chevrolet Corvair was General Motors' ambitious attempt to create an American rear-engined economy car competing with the Volkswagen Beetle. What resulted was a car becoming synonymous with automotive controversy. The Corvair measured approximately 180 inches long with a 108-inch wheelbase. Under the rear deck sat an air-cooled 140 cubic inch flat-six engine, producing 80 horsepower in base form. The engineering was innovative for American cars, with independent suspension at all four corners and an aluminum air-cooled engine. Chevrolet's cost-cutting decisions created serious problems. First-generation Corvairs from 1960 to 1963 featured swing-axle rear suspension, placing 60 to 63% of the car's weight over rear wheels. This extreme rearward weight bias, combined with basic suspension design and lack of a front anti-roll bar, made the car prone to severe oversteer.
1961 to 1968 Amphicar. Taking the top spot is the Amphicar Model 770, designed by Hans Trippel in West Germany. This amphibious vehicle promised to combine a car and boat into one. It featured an 1147cc Triumph Herald inline-4, producing 43 horsepower, achieving 7 knots in water and 70 miles per hour on land. Measuring 157 inches long and weighing over 2,400 pounds, it seemed innovative but was fundamentally flawed. The critical problem? The Amphicar wasn't watertight. Its flotation depended entirely on the bilge pump keeping up with water leakage. If the pump failed, it would sink. Time magazine called it a vehicle that promised to revolutionize drowning. On land, it handled poorly with narrow tires and high ground clearance. Owners had to grease 13 points after each water outing. Only 3,878 were built between 1961 and 1968. It was neither a good car nor a good boat.